South Coast wheel of fortune has turned full circle. 3 years ago, Southampton faced relegation to League One and liquidation, while FA Cup holders Portsmouth were an established Premier League club. But Solent supremacy has shifted. Saints will leapfrog Reading at the top of the Championship if they avoid defeat against crestfallen Pompey, as the Hampshire neighbours scrap for survival on and off the pitch. Southampton welcome back the Championship Player of the Year. Fit again, Ricky Lambert with 28 goals will play alongside Billy Sharp up front. Richard Chaplow misses out. Dean Hammond returns as captain in a 4-4-2. Fraser Richardson comes in at right back. Butterfield and Cork drop to the bench. Portsmouth boss Michael Appleton has the smallest squad in the Football League and more selection problems. Lone midfielder George Thorne is ruled out for the season, so former Manchester City winger Kelvin Atuhu starts, and there's a recall for Portuguese central defender Ricardo Rocha. Israeli Tal Ben Haim is injured. Pompey 4-5-1. Here's Lallana, first chance to run at the Portsmouth defence. Still Lallana, bundled over by Halford, no free kick. To a bemused Adam Lallana. And here comes Norris, and Norris is getting away here. Schneidlin has pulled down the Portsmouth player, and Morgan Schneidlin has been shown a yellow card in the opening minutes of this game. Well, he was getting away, Norris, and Schneidlin held his arm and bundled him over. And the referee, I think, was right. And it is the Derby lone player with his right foot who goes for goal. Not that time. It was a good early start for Portsmouth and will settle the nerves. Lallana cuts back at his right foot and then turns Halford the wrong way. Flat cross. Too far for Gooley. And Varney did really well to get away from the Brazilian. And across to cover well. There's a Southampton player, but Schneidlin has had an eventful start to this South Coast derby. He's already been shown a yellow card, and now he's holding his knee. Nigel Adkins grimacing on the Southampton bench. He's holding the left knee, Schneidlin. Varney was streaking away down the left. Schneidlin came in with the right foot, and he looked like perhaps he was twisting the outside of his right knee. Was strong and stood up against Lallana, and the free kick has gone Southampton's way. The former England under-21 was obstructed. Oh, that's nasty from Ricardo Rocha. He led high with the left elbow. To be fair, Lallana didn't make a big meal of it. Fox down the line. Sharp. Sharp is tripped by Ricardo Rocha, who's going through a nervy couple of minutes. The former Lisbon defender saw his old employers make the Champions League semi-final in midweek, but now he'll have some defending to do. Lallana, we killed it in dangerously. It was dropped by Jamie Ashdown, and the player in the back of the net was Jos Højveldt, who has scored some important goals this season. And Højveldt, how close was he? Oh, marginal. Now Norris, just look a little bit shaky at times at the back, Southampton. Nice ball from Halford, Rekic. And it will find its way through here to Atuhu, who has a sight on goal. Kelvin Atuhu, parried by Davis. And Norris with the follow-up, hits Højveldt. And Kelvin Atuhu, who is the elder brother, Dixon, is at Fulham. A really good shot away. It was a good parry by Kelvin Davis. Lallana. Nice 1-2 with Lambert. Lallana, neat football. Sharp. Hammond. Thought about a side-to-run goal. Fox is offering. And Fox sees a little gap and goes to goal with the outside of his left foot. And it was a good effort. The ball was close to his feet, and he's tried to get a bit of bend with the outside of the boot. He controlled it well, just ran a few yards into a little gap. It's a neat turn by Maguire, equally good defending by Jose Fonte. And then Fonte is caught by Allen. There's an advantage being played by the referee. Lambert into Lallana in the Portsmouth penalty area. In the corner. Well, there was a late challenge there by Scott Allen on Jose Fonte, who had twice got around Portsmouth players. Now, what's the referee talking about to his assistant here? Clearly, he has seen something that Neil Swarbrick missed. Now, the ball was taken by Rocha off Lallana, and he's driven it straight at a Southampton supporter at the northern end of the ground, and they have reacted. Those Saints fans not happy. It looked as though Rocha was just going to shepherd the ball out, and he's just put the boots right through it and hit a fan, and Lallana not happy, and there's a Latino short fuse for Ricardo Rocha, and he's actually flicked Adam Lallana in the face and been shown a yellow card. Well, he has got a history of walking the wrong side of the disciplinary line, Ricardo Rocha. He has been sent off 4 times before, and now he's the latest Portsmouth player to go in Neil Swarbrick's notebook. Lallana's corner. Gooley was beaten in the air by Reckick. Still not cleared. Coming down with snow on that one. Back in by Lambert. Sharp tries to turn. Razor sharp. Billy Sharp. And Southampton have broken the Derby deadlock. And what a difference a week makes. He missed a penalty last weekend. This weekend, deadly. Southampton have taken another step towards the Premier League, and it's a striker's instinct in the 6-yard box. Billy Sharp left Jamie Ashdown with no chance. He was so close to him, but he managed to find his spot and finish with aplomb. Nice ball by Chris Maguire, and Tuhu's round the back here. Richardson in front of him. Kelvin a Tuhu for Portsmouth. Maguire goes for goal! Oh, what a goal by Chris Maguire! You will not see a better strike in the Championship this season. A Tuhu gave him the ball. He only had one thing in his mind, and it was just too fierce for Kelvin Davis on his near post. What confidence, what ability, and what a strike from Chris Maguire. Fox. Now this is where Lallana's dangerous, and he fooled Varney there. What Lallana does like to do is to come in off the left flank. He's a predominantly right-footed player. He'll show you the left and come to the right and normally get a shot away. Back to goal there. Lovely Cruyff turn, and he was just clipped by Luke Varney. Southampton's number 7, Ricky Lambert, back in the side, will take the free kick. Oh, good save. That was travelling. Back in by Fontaine, away by Rocha once more. It doesn't matter what range it really is for Ricky Lambert. He still fancies his chances from any sort of distance. And he forced a smart save by Jamie Ashdown. And away by Ward. The shot from Lallana. Oh, that went through a melee of players. I wonder how close that was, because Adam Lallana looked skyward. He got a good left foot volley away. It went through a whole congregation of players from both sides, and it only went a couple of yards wide. And Gooley's through. Good save by Ashdown at his near post. Well, that's the combination that Nigel Adkins was looking for to work. And it was Lambert who fed it through to the Brazilian. And Gooley had got around the back of Karim Rekik and forced a good parry at the near post by Jamie Ashdown. Southampton know they're in a contest. Here's Rekik. This time Varney has timed his run, and he's round the back here, Luke Varney. Richardson in front of him, tees it up. Oh, Maguire's fluffed a golden opportunity to get Portsmouth in front. Well, what a tonic that would be for Portsmouth at the start of this second period. And he's side-footed it horribly wide, Chris Maguire. And Southampton are so close to crossing the finishing line. Nigel Adkins wants to finish the job. Gooley half stop, sharp, neat turn from Lallana, tackled by Halford, corner Southampton. There's a big noise inside St Mary's now. It's into the middle and away once more, bravely by Rocha, shot on goal, fantastic save by Ashdown. Adam Lallana, he hit a volley with his left foot in the first half and grazed the post. That time it was the opposite foot, and he's brought an excellent stop from Jamie Ashdown. They're knocking on the door here, Southampton. Here's the corner and the header on goal. What a save by Ashdown! Magnificent athleticism. Fonte threw himself at the ball, and the central defender looks in bewilderment as Ashdown's outstretched arm clips it over the bar. It was his wrong hand. What a save! Can Portsmouth still provide a threat at the other end? They must have exhausted huge reserves of energy in keeping Southampton at bay. The referee plays an advantage, nothing coming, or no, he's blown up for a free kick. That time Danny Fox was apprehended, pulled to his feet by Dave Kitson. Who me, ref? And Neil Swarbrick just explaining exactly why the decision was given. Fox delivers to the far post. Lambert rises and heads back, and the shot on goal is over the crossbar. And again, Jose Fonte found room in the penalty area. If that had fallen to a more accomplished centre forward, it may well have found the back of the net. But Jose Fonte, whose last goal was 11 months ago. Here's Fonte, who's pushed up, and Fonte thought about going for goal. Norris in front of him. Oh, Lallana's turned, and Lallana's around the goalkeeper, and he's gone wide, and the chance has gone. Well, he wanted a penalty there. I think Lallana just lost control. There's the turn. He was onside, went around Ashdown. Now, did the trailing leg catch Lallana? Ashdown, slick turn, and then he went down late. No, surely that's a goal kick. He was looking for a penalty. Here is Rekic. Oh, that's an awful clearance by Rekic. De Ridder's onside. De Ridder's cross. Oh, and it's sliced towards his own goal by Rocha. It was kamikaze defending by Portsmouth. Lallana into the middle. Oh, it's headed in towards the own goal, into the back of the net, is it? No! There's an offside flag raised, and there'll be huge controversy here. And Dean Hammond, the Southampton captain, races over to have a word with the referee's assistant. Now, what has Charles Breakspear seen? No, he's awarded the goal. He's changed the decision. And Southampton have scored another late dramatic winner here at St Mary's. And broken hearts at the northern end of the ground. Sharp knocked it in with the side of his foot. The cross came in, it came off a Portsmouth player. And once more, Sharp is the fox in the box. Is there one last gasp effort here for Michael Appleton's side? Shrill whistles all the way around the ground. Long ball into the edge of the box. Resha wins his header. A shot on goal. Oh, what a goal! David Norris has equalised for Portsmouth in injury time. And the northern end of St Mary's explodes in blue colour. It's an Easter cracker from David Norris, and they pulled it out of the fire here, Portsmouth. And the bench are on the pitch, and the supporters have exploded with delight. What a strike by David Norris. He used to be a waiter, did David Norris. Well, he served up the perfect cocktail here. What a volley with the left foot. Kelvin Davis stranded. It was dropping down with snow on it. Set himself, wrapped it with his left foot, and a despairing Kelvin Davis couldn't keep it out.
Nigel, it was some game. Did you think you'd won it?
Well, on 94 minutes, you know, the game was there for us to win, and the lads are going to put a fantastic strike at the ball. There's 2 wonder goals that they've got in it, isn't it? To give them 2 goals and give them a point and put us top of the league.
It was a fantastic game to be involved in. You know, we would have been bitterly disappointed if we'd come away with nothing. I thought we well and truly contributed to a good derby, you know, and to finish and end the game the way we did in terms of the quality of the goal was fantastic.
Well, a point for Southampton was enough to see them return to the top of the table. That's for their two rivals for automatic promotion. Well, they were both in action yesterday. West Ham were at Barnsley. But before that, here's how informed Reading got on against playoff chasers Leeds at the Medeski. Unsurprisingly, Reading were unchanged after hitting the hammers for 4 at Upton Park last week. So Ian Hart lined up against the side where he spent the best part of a decade. Leeds were decimated by injuries and suspensions, so Neil Warnock was forced to make 3 changes, including a first start under Warnock for 19-year-old Zach Thompson. Commentary comes from Dan O'Hagan.
Karajan here for Reading. Zach Thompson is the midfielder with him. And then a heavy one, referee on the spot here. And certainly will be a talking to at least here for the teenager Zach Thompson. And the two tempers here already beginning to ball. Red card shown to Zach Thompson. A career first sending off for the young midfielder. Studs up, both feet off the deck. And Reading's captain there felt the full force of the young midfielder. And his manager is absolutely livid with him. Now, can Reading exploit the gaps now left by the red card for Zach Thompson? McAnuff with a quick throw now to Jason Roberts. Towards McAnuff again, Danny Pugh clear. Karajan. And Ian Hart. And Hart's cross against the post. And a cross there which almost became a whole lot more for Reading and for Ian Hart. And Karajan went in and another heavy tackle. Play goes on, it comes to Roberts here for Reading. With him is Jimmy Kebe in support. This though is Jason Roberts still. Danny Pugh in this time. It's a game so far full of very, very spiky tackles, it must be said. Again the studs are up there and Jem Karajan felt the full force of that one. Well, Jem Karajan is going to have to patch up the socks because you see there just how big the tear was from the studs of Danny Pugh. Kebe's flick away for Karajan here. Then Brown won the ball but then took the man. And Karajan's hurt not for the first time in this first half. It's been a bruising match so far for the young Turk Jem Karajan. Wins the ball, then the follow through catches Karajan. Jem Karajan is going to limp away and limp off here. Robert Snodgrass free kick gives Leeds the first chance to register in this second period. Snodgrass does have a tremendous left foot. In by Snodgrass here and Federici across to turn the ball aside. The 10 men there threatened with the free kick which required a pretty useful save there from the big Aussie. McAnuff made the run, then he's taken out as well by Danny Pugh. Danny Pugh's tackle there was really heavy, yellow card for him. Danny Pugh's walking a very fine line, isn't he? That's another awful tackle. And now Kebe. And the shot's on here, and it's just wide of the mark as well. On the turn there, Ross McCormack almost caught Reading cold. It just flashes past Federici's post. McCormack's great control here. Ross McCormack does well. Snodgrass. Federici saves. And that's a key save too for Reading. As Leeds there with the counter, the rare chance fashion, but Federici there to deny Snodgrass a goal against the run of play. Adam Federici worth his weight in gold there for Reading as Leeds almost found a way through. Robson Kanu for McAnuff here. The captain, McAnuff. Deflection, looping, chance, goal, Lafondra. Flags up. Won't count. Well, the flag up on that far side. It's Richard Kendall. And the ball's played there from McAnuff. Is Lafondra on or offside? That's the question. Here's Jimmy Kebe. And Kebe will cross here. And Robson Kanu arriving on this. And Lafondra. It counts this time, okay. In by Jimmy Kebe. Back in by Robson Kanu. And Adam Lafondra. Right place, right time. And the man signed to fill the shoes of Shane Long has maybe scored a goal to propel his team closer towards the Premier League dream. Legend still. Kebe, can he cross again? It's come to Legend once more now, who gets away from Danny Webber. Roberts turns! Lafondra's there again! Reading are going top, no question now. Adam Lafondra in the mix, on the spot, scores again, and the countdown's on for a Premier League return.
You know, you couldn't get into our rhythm really as far as, you know, the way we wanted to play, and you know, you have to look at the opposition there and say, you know, they've come and done a job in the first half, and you know, I thought there would have been about 10 minutes of injury time in the first half, but there was only 3. Well, that was bizarre to say the least. But the most important thing today is to talk about the football and the fact that you know, we've kept a clean sheet, we've got 3 points, and we move on.
You either got to teach them, the referees or the officials, you know, what the game is all about. We know the rules. They all know the rules. It's just the game they let themselves down, and they don't experience the game. And I think that's the disappointment for me today. I think if you'd have played the game, we'd have got a free kick. They wouldn't have had a goal. We'd have got bookings, 2 or 3 more bookings for Reading with some of the thing. We'd probably got another sending off actually, because I thought Pugh's tackle was worse than the young kids.
Nolan wanted the return from O'Neill. Nolan powers onto it. Button came out bravely. Corner is the call.
Good play from Nolan. I think, you know, no question, Button made the right decision to come out there. Quick 1-2, little flick here. Gets the return, slightly overran that one there.
Over comes the corner. Vaste didn't get it. Nolan did. Touched in. West Ham lead. 6 minutes played. Well, that didn't take long. And it's pretty much the first time West Ham have threatened.
Didn't deal with it, did they? They didn't deal with the first one at the near post. Vaste looks like he's going to get a flick. Nolan on the goal line, just by the keeper. Little poke. It's now the leading goal scorer, 11 goals.
It should be Tompkins to tidy up for Robert Green. It's not the best clearance. Terrible clearance straight to Davis, who's going to have a go. Green got across, not sure it was on target. There's Cottrell. Andy Gray to knock it back. Wouldn't fall for Higginbottom.
Poor clearance, decent touch. This is the touch, sets him up. Great strike. It's coming back in, but I don't think Rob Green can take any chances.
Here's Maynard. On for the shot. Oh, what a good shot it was. West Ham double their lead, and Nicky Maynard continues his run of scoring against Barnsley. It's 6 in 6 for him. Barnsley 0, West Ham 2.
Well, I said before, they've had a good sequence of passing, West Ham in the midfield. They've combined it really well with Nolan, O'Neill and Noble. And this all culminates here with a beautiful finish. So accurate with the shot. I don't think it's the power that beats Button. It's just the accuracy.
Button. He's lost it. Noble. Can he chip it? It's over Button. It's a wonderful goal from Mark Noble. Nightmare moment for the on-loan Barnsley goalkeeper. You know, his last 9 goals have been penalties. Easy from 12 yards. Not so easy from the angle like this, but he made it look so. Nolan to McCartney. There's a musical exchange. McCartney on the move. Maynard's hanging back. McCartney's gone for it. Button palms away. Vaste is in to tap home against his old club. 4-0 West Ham. It really is all over now.
All credit to McCartney, the left back. Look at the space he has here down the right hand side. This looks like it's going in to me, but look, the reaction of Vaste just a little bit quicker. It's a decent save. You want your defenders to help you out. Good reaction from Vaste. Just an easy tap in. No celebration against his old club.
Here's Taylor. Noble finds Maynard. Oh, what an effort! Absolutely brilliant. Button was beaten. The crossbar is still shaking.
Good example today from West Ham, working hard to the final whistle. Long trip up here. Good Friday.
Now they might get a fifth. No, they won't, because Maynard is offside and it won't count.
Yeah, just slightly. I thought Lansborough was going to strike it. Maynard just at the bottom of the screen here goes too early.
Just.
Good decision from this assistant.
We broke a club record today, which I'm really pleased about for the players and the fans, obviously, who supported us today. And we gave them something to cheer about all the way through. But in fairness, all season we've been that good.
They were better than us, which was obvious. We didn't stick to our game plan, and the only positive is that we didn't get beat by more.
Well, as ever, an honest assessment there from Keith Hill. So, very good wins for Reading and West Ham on Good Friday. For West Ham, it was about stepping up, wasn't it? Because they saw Reading win earlier in the day. Maybe a bit of pressure on their shoulders, but they certainly didn't show it.
Well, they're comfortable in that environment away from home, aren't they, at the moment? And they play some great football. So they put to bed all that nonsense from last week, with Sam and the supporters. And then they're now concentrating on the task ahead, which is to get into that top two. And if they keep playing like that, they've got a hell of a chance of doing it.
So 5 games left, 3 teams battling for 2 spots. Southampton top on goal difference. This is what the run-in looks like then for those 3 contenders. I suppose interesting for West Ham, if there is a positive outcome between Southampton and Reading on Friday, there is a way for them to get back into the top 2.
Well, no matter what the result, no matter who wins, if it's a draw, West Ham will, if they win their games, will be within 1 or 2 points of the top 2. And that's what I mean. The supporters had took their eye off the ball, and if they just concentrate on going and winning games, and West Ham, 3 of West Ham's last 5 games are away from home.
Which is probably how Sam would probably welcome that.
Everybody would prefer it like that. They're very confident away from home. 12 away wins is fantastic. Now, I wouldn't bet against them not making it 15.
As for Reading's win over Leeds, it was a committed performance from Leeds, shall we say. Neil Warnock didn't agree with the Zach Thompson red card, but he thought Danny Pugh should have been sent off. What do you think?
Well, it was overcommitted at times, and Zach, his first run out under Neil, it's rash. And it's like a siding motion, but I don't think it's a sending off. But the referee felt he had to stamp it out straight away and sent the lad off. Neil gave him a dressing down. I think that Zach will regret the dressing down. He won't do that again. This is definitely a sending off. I can't believe the referee didn't show Danny Pugh a red card here. His studs are showing. It's dangerous. It's rash. Unfortunately, Catran doesn't pick up a bad injury. And this is just mistimed. He goes to make the challenge. He realises he's not going to get there. Just McAnuff just whips it away from him, and he actually just slides in. It is a yellow card, and eventually just gets a yellow, but he's very fortunate to have stayed on the pitch.
Yeah, we should also add we wish Jem Karachan all the best from his recovery, because he did break his ankle when it came to his second challenge on Friday, on the end of a Michael Brown challenge, that is. More from the Championship now, and first up, Birmingham. The Blues began the day 4th in the table, looking for their 3rd win in 8 days. On Saturday, they welcomed Crystal Palace to St Andrews.
While many view the automatic promotion race in the Championship as a 3-horse affair, 4th place Birmingham are still hoping to take advantage of any slip-ups. The Blues face Crystal Palace at St Andrews, looking for a 4th win in 6 and a 3rd in a row. The Eagles are still looking for their first away win in 2012 and had a first half to forget. Chris Burke got the scoring underway for the home side after 21 minutes. Just a minute later, Birmingham had doubled their advantage. Andros Townsend showing strength and a clever left foot. This time Burke was the provider for Keith Fahey, who, like his midfield colleague, scored with an emphatic finish. And Birmingham looked to have put the result beyond any doubt after just 32 minutes. Encouraged by his teammates' earlier fortunes, David Murphy tried his luck, with the end result the same, 3-0 to Birmingham. Given the scoreline, Palace did well to provide a fight back of sorts, and at least went in at the break, having scored themselves with another long-range strike. Owen Garvan rounding off one of the best 45 minutes of finishing seen at St Andrews in recent years. Chris Hughton happy with both the result and his side's attacking intent.
3 excellent goals, and would probably pick Keith Fahey's as the one of the 3, but 3 excellent goals.
One of the 2 remaining Friday fixtures saw Watford look to step up their hopes of a top 6 finish against Blackpool. The home side had taken 17 points from the last 7 games. Automatic promotion looks well beyond Blackpool, but Ian Holloway's side are a strong bet for the playoffs. They'd lost the last 3 away matches, but there was no lack of confidence early on. Watford keeper Thomas Kuszczak showed great powers of recovery to deny Thomas Ince at the second attempt. And the visitors' early dominance paid off midway through the first half when Stephen Dobbie followed up his 2 goals against Southampton with a quality run and finish. Watford had won their last 3 games, and in the second half they came close to equalising in a more direct fashion. But Mark Yates found visiting keeper Matt Gilks equal to his shot. With 20 minutes remaining, however, Blackpool were awarded a penalty. Matt Phillips laid the ball onto Thomas Ince, who was brought down by Kuszczak. Referee James Linnington's decision was immediate. Up stepped who else but Stephen Dobbie. 4th goal in 2 games, the talisman of their last promotion season is working a treat again on his second loan from Swansea. Blackpool have cemented their place in the playoffs.
Another Good Friday fixture saw Burnley look to bounce back from their terrible Tuesday home defeat to Birmingham at Turf Moor. Their opponents Brighton had lost only 1 of their last 9 games and were hoping to consolidate their playoff spot. Eddie Howe's side began brightly. They thought they should have been awarded a penalty when Danny Ings fell in the box. However, the referee, Carl Boyerson, saw nothing illegal. Last weekend, the Clarets had enjoyed a 5-1 win over another South Coast side, Portsmouth, with Charlie Austin scoring a second-half hat-trick. And he was on target again here midway through the first half, his 14th championship goal of the season. Josh McQuoid had supplied the cross for that, and then it was his turn to get on the end of one, after some nifty work on the wing by fullback Kieran Trippier. Burnley hadn't won in any of their last 4 home league games, but were looking much more dangerous here. Brighton, though, had only lost once in the Championship this year, and Sam Vokes went close for them. Vokes had been on loan at Burnley earlier this season. Into the second half, and Burnley were keen to add to their lead. Trippier, who's a former Manchester City trainee, was enjoying his freedom. Now, Burnley last achieved the league double over the Seagulls back in 1973, and with 15 minutes remaining they had another effort. Austin's second half performance not quite as accurate as last weekend's, however. Brighton could have snatched an unlikely point late on when the Egyptian defender Adam El Abd had a free header in the box. So Burnley's first home win since Valentine's Day keeps their playoff hopes alive, while Brighton suffer a blow to theirs.
There's been little to choose between Middlesbrough and Cardiff at the moment, 7th and 8th in the table respectively. Both had drawn their last 4 matches ahead of this one, and their playoff chances, as much as their promotion chances, have been faltering. Cardiff weren't helped either when Kenny Miller was injured after just 5 minutes, but his replacement, Joe Mason, soon found his range, if not the opening goal this clever footwork deserved. The Riverside woodwork is a recurring theme later in the game. Cardiff arrived at the North East knowing their challenge has been blunted by 11 away draws, but they also know their rivals haven't been pulling away, and Ben Turner's 11th minute opener got them off to a perfect start. And it got even better for Malky Mackay's side just 8 minutes later. Yet more trickery from Joe Mason, this time paid off, and Cardiff were well on their way to only their second win in 10 games. But they certainly rode their luck as Middlesbrough did everything but score in the second half. Here, for example, the Cardiff defence were left watching as Adam Hamill beat David Marshall, but not the post. Let off one. Marshall was beaten again as Middlesbrough kept coming forward looking for a way back. Lukas Jukovic was the unlucky man this time, finding the frame of the goal. Let off two. And there was more. Maybe Marshall's done the lottery tonight, because Mallory Martin's free kick somehow found its way onto the bar and then Marshall poured it away to safety. Cardiff are back in the playoff places. Borough haven't won in a month.
We've got 5 games to try and put it right. You know, we've got to pick up a good few points of those 5 games, but we are still very much in the shout. You know, only 1 point outside the playoff place and all to play for.
The Den has not been a happy hunting ground for Hull. They've yet to win at Millwall's present stadium, where the home side paid tribute to one clubman Barry Kitchener. Kitch died a week ago, aged 64. In his heyday, they wore white. but it was very nearly Hull that swept into an early lead. The visitors had only scored once in their last 5 outings, yet Richard Garcia nearly put his goal-shy team ahead. But it was the Lions, not the Tigers, who scored first. Harry Kane nodding in, the Tottenham loanee's 6th goal since joining in January. Relief for Millwall, who were looking for a first victory at home in 9 attempts. Millwall had another chance after referee Darren Dedman played a good advantage, and they need all the chances they can get at the moment. Kane, though, couldn't quite convert this time. In the second half, Millwall pushed on. Kane again going close, this time denied by a goal-line clearance by Sonny Bradley. Barry Kitchener would have been proud of the numerous attempts they were creating. Andy Keogh went down under Liam Cooper's challenge, and they had a penalty. And so it was left to Keogh to ease Millwall's relegation fears and finally secure the Lions' 1,000th home league win, a milestone they'd been trying to reach since their last success at the Den on Boxing Day.
I thought we deserved the win, but however you get them in our situation and at this stage of the season, you have to try to find the winning formula. So it's a fantastic result first and foremost, but I did think that we deserved to win. We created a lot of chances and an excellent clean sheet where we limited Hull to very little shots.
With games running out for these two, those pre-season ambitions of promotion have been shelved for next year. This was 14th against 15th in the mid-table comfort zone. The visitors were nearly ahead early on. Michael Chopra had only scored once in his last 7 games. He was denied here by Jason Shackle. In truth, this wasn't a classic, although both teams showed greater urgency in the second half. Ben Davies unlucky to see this effort come back off the post. At the other end, Paul Jewell's side chasing a first away win in 5, thwarted by Frank Fielding tipping J. Emmanuel Thomas's shot onto the post. And after 14 games without a home draw, that's exactly what happened this time, although Shackle very nearly snatched it, only for Aaron Cresswell to come to Ipswich's rescue.
Last weekend, Andy Thorne's Coventry climbed out of the bottom 3 for the first time since October. Could they keep it going against Peterborough at the Ricoh Arena? Peterborough have only won 3 times away this season, but Emil Sinclair's deft curler early on put them on course for win number 4. Their next attempt was more of a team effort, Lee Tomlin almost finishing off an excellent move. But while Coventry might have found a comeback beyond them earlier in the season, that's now not the case, something that Cody McDonald proved after 26 minutes as he started the Sky Blues revival. And in the final minute of the half, the home side were awarded a penalty after Tomlin bundled Jordan Clark over. Gary McSheffrey made no mistake, and Coventry went into the break leading again. Peterborough almost handed their opponents a 3rd goal after the break, Gabriel Zakuani diverting McSheffrey's cross against his own post. It proved crucial as Peterborough equalised with 14 minutes remaining, Sinclair showing he's just as accurate from 3 yards out as 30.
Konchesky. Nugent. Oh, he's going to have a go! Good save! Bolt from the blue there. Long way out, but Akemi was alert. Nugent. Chance for Morgan here. Beckford off the line, Diouf. Akemi was beaten, but Diouf was in the right place. It could be one of those days. Peltier. Good forcing run. Beckford! Good save again by Akemi. Peltier did everything right. Beckford didn't quite get the contact, but Akemi certainly did. Morgan. Nugent waiting. Here's Drinkwater, and that's it. 1-0. Leicester had the breakthrough. Nice laid back. It wasn't quite the contact, but it was good enough. Coppinger. Still Coppinger. Might try one and does. Schmeichel equal to it. Made himself some space and teed up nicely. Habib Bey! The Leicester defence didn't know too much about that. Good jump, and Schmeichel was flapping.
Peltier on the overlap, could be dangerous. Oh no, what was that? He's done everything right so far. Peltier was a cross come shot, and it's a goal. 2-0 Leicester. Horror of horrors. Marshall. Still going. Still going. Oh, look at that! One day Ben Marshall will score a tap-in. For the moment, though, everyone is spectacular. Beautifully curled, beautifully judged. Akemi, no chance. Marshall again. Is he going to try it? He is. Well, the keeper knew nothing about that, but the woodwork intervened. Still not clear. Well, he's lining them up at the moment, Marshall. Causing danger. Didn't go on such a run. Keeper nowhere. King. Gallagher's ahead of him. And it's 4. Found space. Found his stride. No doubt about the finish. Leicester look good.
Very pleasing. Obviously, keep a clean sheet. Everyone will tell you that's important. But score 4 goals in the manner we did, and the second half performance was really pleasing.
We've got to finish chances and we've got to defend a bit better. I mean, come out second half, the second goal's killed us. It's just a freak goal. It's gone through Carl's legs. You know, you've got to go game to game now. We've got another game on Monday. You know, there's 5 games to go. We've got to try and win them all.
Good win for Leicester, that, but for Doncaster, well, it's not looking great. 8 adrift with 5 to play. Not wanting to be harsh on Carl Akime, the goalkeeper, but they can ill afford to make mistakes like this.
It's difficult not to be harsh. You know, he would be harsh on himself, but he doesn't expect to make mistakes like that. It's embarrassing, and it made it very, very difficult for Doncaster. But you know, you'd think they're a team who, you know, were getting absolutely smashed week in, week out. They're not. They're creating chances and they're not taking chances, and they're conceding silly goals like that, and that's why they're in the situation that they are.
It's been a very fruitful few days for Birmingham City. They've won their last 3-1 now. And well, Chris Hughton continues to enhance his credentials as possible manager of the year.
Yeah, well, 55 games they've played this season already. You know, the Europa League, they embraced it, and they've used it really to bring this side together very, very quickly, and they're on a real roll at the moment. It's a tremendous goal, that one from Fahey in this game, and you know, they're right in there. Maybe if they just started their run a little bit earlier, they'd be, you know, challenging right at the top, but they're certainly right there in the playoffs.
Cardiff have also had a fair few games to contend with. This was their 50th game against Middlesbrough. Defeat for either would have been a hammer blow to their playoff hopes, but Cardiff back to winning ways through Joe Mason as well, a player who I thought was particularly impressive in the Carling Cup final. Super sub on this occasion. Yeah,
came on after 5 minutes. He replaced Miller, and you know, they have been struggling, you know, for goals, to get goals from their front players. But that was a lovely finish by Joe, and you know, both sides have been struggling going into that game. So whoever came out on top certainly, you know, saw the influence of it.
We saw there also a good win for Millwall, the perfect way to honour their club legend that was Barry Kitchener. As for tonight's late game in the Championship, well, it was a key contest in the battle for survival, with third bottom Bristol City looking for their first win in 6 at a resurgent Nottingham Forest. Victory for the Robins would also drag Forest back into trouble. Well, Steve Cottrell's side were unchanged after their 3-0 win at Crystal Palace last Saturday, while Derek McInnes made 3 changes, with Jamie McAllister, Martin Wolford and Chris Wood coming in, with Wood making his first start since February. Commentator is Tony Gubber.
Good error. Chipped over the top. Good ball as well. And then Gunter plays it in. Oh, what a terrific ball across the 6-yard box. And Dexter Blackstock diving to try and make contact, but needed the slightest of touches. Reed knocks it forward. Takes the return ball. Here's Andy Reid. It finds its way back to Andy Reid. Andy Reid! Good save by the keeper. Turned it into the side netting. Well, there were flashes of quality football at times from Nottingham Forest, and that was one of them. And Reid heavily involved, having survived a tackle that might have put him on his back. Here's Reid trying to squeeze the ball out wide, and he has. Just a couple of minutes into the second half, and a free kick here in a very central position. Polish striker is just standing to the left, number 28. The will be Reid with the left foot. He brings another save from the Bristol City keeper. Almost keeping David James on the substitutes bench. This is Jonathan Stead, trapped by Chambers. This is Adoma, just on as a substitute. And Foster. Oh, it came off the woodwork. Stead. Oh, he's gone down. That must be a penalty. Oh, Lee Camp holds his head in dismay and shame. His challenge on Jonathan Stead was reckless. So Bristol City with a penalty here in the first 10 minutes of the second half. And Chris Wood has scored from the spot, and against the run of play, Bristol City lead here against Nottingham Forest by a goal to nil. And well, the manager Derek McInnes surely can't believe his luck. Nottingham Forest with the free kick, stunned by that penalty for Bristol City. Reid takes it. Plenty of heads there. Oh, it might have come off a defender. Either way, it was a tremendous save by Dean Gerken. No wonder he's keeping David James on the substitutes bench. Just over 2 minutes left. Oh, wonderful save by Gerken. Wonderful save. What a night the 26-year-old has had. What a powerful header by Marcus Tugge, who came in behind Dexter Blackstock. This is Stoos Wolfwood. They're going to be 4 added minutes. Oh, that was a good shot. They're going to get a second, and they have, and it's Wolfwood. Flags up, won't count. Wolfwood with the ball into Chris Wood, who got a crisp shot away. And he's not offside, is he, when the shot was struck. And Bristol City have been denied what would have been a legitimate second goal there. 2 minutes of the 4 added on have been played. Nottingham Forest still searching for that equaliser. In by Reid, and it's another save from Gerken.
Well, I'd have settled for the performance. You know, we were fantastic. And one moment of madness has cost us a game, but that happens. For that level of performance, I would have taken that. I thought we were fantastic today. How we didn't get 3 points on Evernote. Their goalkeeper was inspired today.
You know, I thought he was terrific. You know, I think his kicking was great. I thought his handling was great. He came for crosses when he had to, and was very assured throughout. I thought it brought a calmness to our back four, and you know, latterly our back four was getting deeper and deeper, not through choice. I think just through the physical side of it and how much we'd worked, and certainly from the pressure that Forrest were bringing at that time. But we stood up to it when he came for things. He was done great, but I think he was well backed up with the 10 boys in front of him, and it was a good team performance. It's something we're going to need more of between now and the end of the season.
So both managers waxing lyrical over the Bristol City goalkeeper Dean Gerken, who certainly justified his latest inclusion in the side, hasn't he? He was in terrific form today.
He certainly was, and he made a lot of saves that I think he would expect to make, but they were important saves in important times. Because there was an element of smash and grab about City's performance. There, his position is good, which is key. But you know, Forrest played really well. He had Reid, McCleary, Majewski on the ball a hell of a lot. That's the best save of the lot from Joel Lynch, and that was at 1-0, and it kept the score at 1-0, and that was an outstanding save. And when he's got his chance, and he's taken it.
Massive boost to Bristol City's survival hopes, isn't it?
It certainly is, and as I said, there was a bit of smash and grab about it.
Yeah,
you know, Carey, Amugu, I think Cisse and Cole Scoos in the centre midfield. They really did defend well. Don't think they're going to score enough goals to stay in the division, but I do think they can keep enough clean sheets, and I think that's what Derek McInnes is hoping, that they defend like that and keep some more clean sheets.
It drags Forest back into things, which certainly makes things a lot more interesting. But with such a quick turnover, they play Peterborough on Monday. They can't afford to dwell on this result for too long.
I don't think they will dwell, because I think, as Steve Cottrell said, they played really well. They played really well, lots of creativity. McCleary did really well down that right-hand side. They just didn't put the ball in the back of the net at key times, but they have been playing well, so they need to put it behind them. It's only 48 hours and they've got another game.
So the nature of the performance, as Steve Cottrell said, it will be most heartening.
Oh, definitely.
OK. Well, by the way, incidentally, actually, Bristol City go out of the relegation zone just above Coventry. As it happens, those two play each other on Monday, and that is our featured game, so it's one certainly not to miss. To League One then, we start at Bramall Lane, where Sheffield United have given the fans the perfect response after relegation from the Championship last season. The Blades started this Easter in second place, thanks to a man whose appointment raised a few eyebrows when he returned to the Steel City.
As a Wednesday, he was always going to have his doubters in these parts, but few could have predicted the 400-strong baying mob that provided the backdrop to Danny Wilson's first press conference here at Bramall Lane. Yet 10 months of stylish winning football later, and the red half of the Steel City is being won over, just as the blue half are in serious danger of having their noses put out of joint, as their former manager hopes to lead his new club to promotion at his old club's expense. Nice to see you. Was crossing the Steel City divide ever an issue from your point of view, Danny?
No, never even considered it. You know, and I mean, obviously when all the disquiet was starting to come out, it was a bit of a surprise. Maybe naivety more than anything from my point of view, but it was so long ago, you know, and my affiliations with Wednesday were there for everybody to see, and it's in the record books. I can't deny it. In fact, I quite enjoyed my time there, you know. So, but that's what happens. It was football, you know, and but it shouldn't take anything off, you know, the job that was in hand in front of us.
Well, I went to a pre-season fans forum. And my initial viewpoints were that I was like a lot of other supporters from this side of the city who didn't want him because of his affiliation with our noisy neighbours.
We'd listened to a lot of you know, anti-Wilson protesters, I suppose, and they're quite vehement in the way they said certain things. So they had to listen to what we had to say, and I think that was only fair.
When I first met the guy, I was impressed. I had a list of questions for him, and he answered them. He answered them all, and he answered them honestly, and he come across as a very nice bloke. My opinion changed then.
Football the lads have played have been fantastic, you know, and I think we can get better, but the most important thing is people are enjoying it, you know, and the players are enjoying it. That's priority.
Time has changed. We always said at the time, you know, that if he gets a team winning and playing football and scoring goals, then we'll go with him.
There's only one Danny Wilson! You know they've got a song about you now, don't you?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Whoa, Danny Wilson!
I heard it a few months ago, actually. You know, when I first heard it, I had to have a double take.
It used to be but now it's alright. Walking in and also on.
It made me smile.
Yeah, I bet it did.
I think he came in and gave the belief back to the players. You know, he's just encouraged them to go out and play. You know, like I said earlier, they're good players. You know, go out and show that.
Ched Evans, 10 goals in 8 games, League One Player of the Year, first Blades player to score over 30 goals in a season since Dean and Nagana back in '89. But all with a backdrop of this well-publicised personal issue that's impending. It's incredible he's been able to focus so much on his game.
Listen, I've got a great deal of admiration for Ched, because he had injuries, he had this, that and the other, and you say personal life has come into public knowledge as well. You know, but he's dealt with everything great. The way that the players have taken to him and taken to how his attitude has been absolutely first class, and you just got to take your hat off to Ched. But I'd love to say for the city of Sheffield to have, you know, 2 teams in the Championship would be brilliant, you know, and because we've shown what we can offer to football. You know, the fans, the passion that they have here, and the numbers they come out in. You know, it's as good as any. You know, it's got a lot of Premiership clubs. You know, so let's hope, from our point of view anyway, that we can grace the next stage.
Despite the fact their Steel City rivals continue to push them to the limit, Sheffield United refused to wilt under the pressure. The flowing move that set up Kevin McDonald, a clear sign that confidence levels are soaring. The Blades may have missed their chance that time, but it wasn't long before Bournemouth's resistance was broken. Ched Evans found himself perfectly placed, the outcome predictable. The striker blasting home his 32nd of the campaign to keep the Blades on course. 5 minutes into the second half, United's master marksman demonstrated his ability to create goals too, this time setting up Richard Creswell, who can even score while sitting down. Bournemouth are still chasing their first away win this year, but they made a better fist of it in the second half. A bizarre goal gave the travelling fans something to cheer, Zavon Hines leaving Steve Simonson red-faced to notch his first Cherries goal. Despite the protest, the goal stood, but the Blades still had the last laugh.
Reading placed with Wednesday breathing down the back of your pants, so that is a big, big result.
Yeah, it's a huge result, and obviously another 3 points. We're on a good roll, and we're just trying to concentrate on winning as many games out the last 6. So that's another one today, and we've just got to try and keep doing that.
I'll tell you what, 5 more of those, and you're in the Championship.
Yes, you did. Spot on. Yeah, good mathematician, isn't you? Yeah. Yeah, we are. I mean, and that's what we have to think about. You know, we have to really try and do that. We have to really go and push ourselves to the limit in every game, because we don't know what's going to happen around us, and we can't affect that. But we know that if we go to Rochdale and get 3 points, then the games are whittling away.
So Sheffield United's pursuit of second place continues in League One. We heard from Danny Wilson there, Leroy, about having to use his man management skills, I suppose, to almost reduce the hostility after his appointment, to get the fans on side, so to speak. But you know all about that, don't you? Because you were with Danny, of course, during your time at Bristol City.
Yeah, when Danny came into Bristol City, I'd never met him, and I became his first team coach, and I think he's a decent man. That's what Sheffield United fans would have found out. But man management isn't just about managing your players and managing your staff, it's about managing the supporters as well, and he's done that magnificently.
It's quite a brave move, though, isn't it?
Oh,
especially
certainly.
when you're an ex-Wednesday player to come in at United and then ask them to come face to face.
Well, I saw it. I couldn't believe it. In all honesty, what are you doing, Danny? But he can handle it, and he knows what a good job, what a good club Sheffield United are. He knows about the area, so there's a lot of positives that go with it as well. But let's be honest, if they weren't doing well, he'd be in real trouble. But they are, and they're playing good football. They're scoring goals, and as you can see, everybody's behind him.
Certainly are. So the Blades remain on course for promotion. Let's see how their League One rivals got on over the last couple of days, starting with the leaders Charlton, who were at Oldham on Saturday.
When Trevor Kettle takes charge of a match, commentators all over the land ready puns about the match boiling over. But with 3 red cards in this one, how can you avoid it? Danny Hollands was the first to go here. His 31st minute challenge deemed worthy of a straight red. 10 minutes later, Oldham's Jean-Yves Mavoto was shown a second yellow for this piece of clumsiness. Honours even. But at half-time, the referee was booed off by both sets of fans. It's safe to say Mr Kettle is not everyone's cup of tea. This game was won by Jan Kermorgant 4 minutes after the break. His header from Royce Wiggins' cross sees Charlton take another decisive step towards the Championship, especially as the Addicts finished with 9 men. Scott Wagstaff fouled Dean Furman and received his marching orders with 14 minutes remaining. Referee Kettle will claim he had no alternative but to show a 12th yellow and 3rd red. Nevertheless, Chris Powell was steaming.
It's hard to take, but what I've got to say, I've got to applaud all my players. You know, the 9 that were out there for the last third of the game, I thought they were tremendous. You know, no one can doubt my players' attitude or commitment or character to each other, to me and to this football club.
It was 4th at home to 3rd in the League One game of the day, and Sheffield Wednesday almost took a first half lead when Gary Madine's header from Mikel Antonio's throw was chipped onto the crossbar by Alex Smithies. Miguel Lera's job is to stop other teams from scoring, so how about this? Not a bad way to score your first goal for the Owls. And after Lera showed how it should be done, Antonio showed how it shouldn't be. Nile Ranger made the break, and as the ball came back off the bar, well, the midfielder's reaction said it all. In the end, the miss didn't prove costly, as Rangers scored the first goal of his loan spell from Newcastle United to clinch the points. As for the celebration, no, I've no idea either.
He's one of the greats of the game. Preston fans turning out in force to join in the birthday celebrations for their legendary number 7, Sir Tom Finney. Promotion-chasing MK Dons were intent on spoiling the party. The decision not to track Darren Potter's run from midfield backfired. The Dons back in the groove after successive defeats, whilst Preston boss Graham Wesley was keen to move on after accusing some of his players of leaking tactics a week ago, Chris Holroyd going close to a leveller. Fitting then that on Sir Tom's 90th birthday, Bailey Wright picked the 90th minute to earn Preston a share of the points.
Carlisle's Adam Collin need not have worried about Ben Streven's first half shots. A decent enough effort, but Wickham, it seems, only score late goals. 3 injury time equalisers and successive 1-1 draws have had some talking about luck. Certainly Wanderers were fortunate when Chris Hackett's shove on Liam Noble was spotted by everyone at Adams Park except referee Rob Lewis. Not that Wickham had all the luck. Carlisle took the lead when John Paul McGovern's strike found the net via the unsuspecting Grant Bhasin. So could the Chairboys make it another late show? Anthony McNamee's backward header was clever, but in normal time and therefore far too early. Instead it was a stoppage time strike from Stuart Lewis that puts Wickham 4 points from safety. They'll hope for an earlier goal against Chesterfield on Monday.
Bad results against the 2 Sheffield clubs in March dented Notts County's hopes of a playoff place, but they're now back on track. Damien Stewart taking full advantage of a mix-up in the O's defence. That came with just 20 minutes to go. This came 6 minutes later. Jeff Hughes on the spot to double the visitors' lead. And with time running out, Notts added a third. Lloyd Sam benefiting as referee David Webb played advantage. John Harley's shot was well saved by Jamie Jones, but Sam just kept on running. Orient have now lost 5 of the last 6.
It looks like Tranmere have found a gem in young Jake Cassidy. The striker on loan from Wolves had Stevenage heading for defeat inside the first 11 minutes. His first couldn't have been scruffier, but his second was much more pleasing on the eye. Yes, the marking may have been questionable, but the 19-year-old made the finish look easy. A huge blow to the Borough's promotion prospects. This latest setback leaves them 6 points adrift of the playoff positions. Lucas Aiken secured Tranmere their biggest win of the season. He must be wishing that Ronnie Moore had returned to the club much sooner.
Sam Saunders was the hero as Brentford picked up a 5th straight win. His first goal, just aimed the free kick at your teammates who conveniently move out of the way. What could be simpler? For his second, he raced forward, aimed to shoot, then didn't, then did. Now Richie Barker's team are in danger of making an immediate return to League Two. And the game was up for them 5 minutes later when Clayton Donaldson found Shalem Logan, who beat Jonathan Bond from a narrow angle. Uwe Rosler's team could still make the playoffs.
There are few footballing sins worse than failing to find the net. Hartlepool hadn't managed it in 5 of their previous 6 games. Send for the Sweeney. Anthony Sweeney at last ending their drought. Freddie Sears has Premier League goals on his CV, but the one he got for West Ham against Wolves in January 2011 was his last in any league. But when Paul Murray tripped Gavin Massey with 9 minutes remaining, Sears had the confidence to take the penalty. His first Colchester goal was enough for a share of the points.
Gary Johnson's Yeovil eased past Rochdale, who didn't help themselves, as Kevin Amankwa gifted an early goal to Jonathan Franks. And the visiting defence continued in generous mood. Josh Morris has played in the Premier League for Blackburn this season, and after a couple of flick-ons, his free kick was helped over the line by Richard Hines. Michael Woods hadn't scored for Yeovil before, but some more poor defending set him up a quarter of an hour from time. He couldn't miss. And even when Rochdale managed a consolation goal, it came from a Yeovil player. Jonathan Grounds putting the ball into his own net. Rochdale remain in deep trouble, just 3 places off the bottom.
Exeter are looking doomed, sentenced to a 6th defeat in 7 matches by Scunthorpe. After a goalless first half, only a lick of paint prevented Josh Walker from opening the scoring. Alan Neil's men were hoping to create some breathing space between themselves and the bottom 4. Soon after, the very same goal frame kept out Jimmy Ryan. But Scunthorpe refused to be knocked off course in their quest for maximum points. It needed substitute John Parkin to clinch the victory. His shot midway through the second half, slipping through the fingers of Artur Krysiak. This time the woodwork wasn't able to save him.
Chesterfield's League One status looks like being lost at the first attempt. Before kick-off, Walsall seemed to be the only side the Spireites could realistically catch. When Frank Musa got the opener, it looked like the great escape might be on. But it's Walsall that possessed the relegation-avoiding form. Inspired by Emmanuel Ledesma, Dean Smith's side have now lost only once in 12 matches. They were level here within minutes. And the Saddlers turned it around before half-time. Ledesma on target again and taking his tally to 4 goals in his last 3 games. Chesterfield, on the other hand, are winless in 7. If they lose on Monday, relegation will be confirmed. If others win, not even victory will save them. Mark Randall briefly had the Spireites level in the second half, but they couldn't hold on. Instead, Walsall won their 6-pointer 4 minutes later through Sam Manton. The third goal of his loan spell from West Brom lifts Walsall to 18th and has the Saddlers looking good for survival.
So Walsall continue to compound Chesterfield's misery. As for Walsall, they did the great escape last season, didn't they? And they've got the same player on board on loan in Ledesma. He's at it again and looks like they could be on course for another great escape.
Well, they know he can handle the situation and the pressure. He's got a lovely left foot. The keeper goes for the eyes. I think he's going to put it to his right hand side. He puts it low to his left. And this one, he just opens up his body and just caresses it into the net. It's an excellent finish. It's going to be really important to them from now to the end of the season.
Quite similar to the way Stephen Dobbie's been playing for Blackpool, isn't it? You have players who have certain fields for the clubs when they go back.
And you know they're going to have an instant impact. You know, they've already been there, they know the environment, most really know most of the players. It's important for a manager at this time of the season to have that instant impact as he's had.
Significant win for Charlton today. Chris Powell called it result of the season. I mean, they've had a few good results, it has to be said. But to finish off with 9 men, he's seen a different side of his players.
They haven't had to win games in this manner, have they? They've outplayed teams, you know. But to dig in, got the winner there is important. A good 1-0.
1 win away from racking 90 points for the Addicts, 90+ points, it has to be said. As for Sheffield Wednesday, pivotal victory for them as well, because by winning and beating Huddersfield, they put a massive dent into Huddersfield's own hopes of finishing in the top 2.
Yeah, we just feel that Huddersfield will have to settle for the playoffs now, again, for them. And, good finish here from Niall Ranger. When you can call upon a loan from Newcastle, just shows that you're in good shape.
So looking at the top of the table, it was Charlton. They're there now, are they? All but there, do you think?
Almost there. It'll be very difficult to see them slip up now. They've got themselves in a very strong position.
As for the bottom, I mean, now we know. What do you think? The bottom 3, it looks pretty grim for them. Rochdale, Exeter, Chesterfield?
Yeah, all 3 of those sides. But I mean, the good thing, and this is a good thing for their supporters, I think that all those managers will still be in place next year to try and get them back up. I think at the moment, there's no chance of them staying in the division.
So what about that battle to avoid that last relegation place? How many teams does it stretch over, do you think?
Well, I think it goes right up to Scunthorpe in 15th on 49 points. I think the magic number is 50 points. Wickham, they're in that last relegation position on 42 points. They've been trying to get results. They've been really digging out points, but they need to turn those into wins. But I think everybody will be a little bit nervous right up to Scunthorpe on 49.
So we saw Gillingham get relegated 2 years ago on 50. You think 50 will be about the cut-off point?
The cut-off point. I think anybody's on 50 points now, I think they've more or less done it there. It would mean that Wickham have had to win 3 of their last 5 games, which will be unlikely.
Well, as for League 2, all the games took place on Good Friday, including the leaders Swindon, who made the journey north to Morecambe. Well, before we get into the action, here's a quick look at the Shrimps' history, a club that's always played with a smile on its face.
Bring me sunshine in your smile.
After numerous attempts to break the stranglehold that rugby league had in this area, Morecambe Football Club was formed in 1920. They originally played their games at Christie Park, named after club president and major benefactor J.B. Christie, but in 2010 moved into the swanky 6,500 capacity Globe Arena. Fiona Bruce, eat your heart out. How much would this be worth on the Antiques Roadshow? Pride of place in the tunnel at the Globe Arena goes to this door from the kit room at Christie Park, which has been signed by a who's who of English football. Peter Schmeichel, Bobby Charlton and Tom Finney, to name but 3. They're called the Shrimps after Morecambe Bay's famous local delicacy.
The biggest day in the club's history came in 2007 at Wembley, when they beat Exeter City in the Conference Playoff Final to reach the Football League for the first time, with current player Danny Carlton scoring their winning goal.
Look out, the game started!
There's a distinct line in comedy about Morecambe. This fella took his stage name from his hometown and was an occasional visitor to Christie Park. Jim Bowen was honorary president of the club until 2003.
But perhaps the funniest moment in the club's history was when mascot Christy the Cat was sent off after an altercation with the Dagenham and Redbridge goalkeeper Tony Roberts. Shame on you! Shame on you!
Paolo Di Canio didn't enjoy this. The Swindon boss less than impressed with his size display at Morecambe, but the man he's described as his best signing for the club came up trumps less than a minute into the second half. Paul Benson simply couldn't miss. The striker's 10th goal since joining on loan from Charlton back in January edged the leaders closer to the title. Morecambe boss Jim Bentley, on the other hand, declared himself massively frustrated at the finish. Nick Fenton's deflected header almost rescued his side a deserved point, but Swindon are almost there.
Torquay were looking for a 6 win in 8 as they aimed for a return to League One, and after a goalless first half, Mark Ellis should have given them the lead. It was easier to hit the back of the net, surely. The embarrassment was short-lived as Rennie Howe spared his teammates blushes to score his 13th goal of the season. Perhaps there was a slice of luck with the deflection from Apprington's Charlie Barnett, but the finish was all skill. As for the celebrations, a touch of the Mick Channon windmills there. Torquay stay second.
Crawley accounting the cost of that brawl at Bradford. The resulting suspensions have left town with square pegs in round holes. In fairness to Byron Moore, he needed only the slightest gap in the Crawley ranks to give Crewe the lead. With Steve Evans linked with the vacant Rotherham job, the Red Devils are in danger of unravelling. Some damage limitation was achieved when Lee Bell handled in the box. Gary Alexander did the business from the spot, but it couldn't prevent Crawley from slipping out of the top 3.
Plenty at stake in this one, with both teams desperate for points for different reasons. James Collins had Tony Diagni in a spin before firing Shrewsbury into a first half lead. The striker's 15th of the campaign had Graham Turner's team heading for the top 3, and that solitary goal looked to have sealed it for the promotion chasers, but 3 goals in the final 7 minutes gave the scoreline a very different look. First, Mark Wright squeezed in a second to put the Travellers firmly in control. But just 2 minutes later, Arnaud Mendy gave Macclesfield a lifeline. That fabulous volley raised hopes of a comeback, but almost immediately Shrewsbury restored their 2-goal advantage. After a neat 1-2, Collins found himself clean through. The Shrews now unbeaten in 4, but Macclesfield are in big trouble.
Southend came to Yorkshire having won more away games than anyone else in the division. Bradford had picked up just 1 point from 18. So much for the form book. Michael Flynn with the cross, James Hansen with the header. But if Southend thought things weren't going their way in the first half, they went from bad to worse after the break. First of all, Sean Cloesy was sent off with this push on Naki Wells. Craig Fagan dispatched the penalty, despite the best efforts of Cameron Belford. Quarter of an hour later, referee Eddie Ilderton was brandishing the red card again. Elliot Benyon sent off for violent conduct, Southend down to 9 men and 5 points adrift of 3rd place.
Now 9 points above the drop zone. It looks like we'll be seeing Northampton again next season. Luke Gutteridge set the tone for a lively encounter with Oxford with this beauty in the opening seconds. The visitors were undone in the first and last minute of the match. The 88 in between weren't too bad. Christian Montano hauled the U's level just after half-time. The youngster scoring for his 4th league club this season. The game's turning point came soon afterwards. Adam Chapman was sent sprawling by Blair Adams just inside the box. Chapman spotted the ball himself but the Cobblers' Neil Kitson was able to keep out a penalty for the second game in a row. It proved pivotal. With time running out, a bobbler from Brett Williams made it 5 wins out of 8 for Northampton. It was tough on Oxford after back-to-back defeats. Their Easter Monday meeting with Torquay now looks all the more daunting. They'll be without Michael Dewberry. Frustration got the better of him. A second yellow in injury time means the veteran won't be working on the bank holiday.
Cheltenham hadn't scored in over 10 hours of football. Ben Burgess wasting a great chance to end the goal drought against strugglers Barnet. Mark Yates's team have been horribly out of form too. Clovis Camjo's terrific header almost had them trailing at the break. But with 15 minutes to go, Qaid Mohammed's surging run had the Barnet defenders backpedaling, and after linking up with fellow sub Jermaine McGlashan, Mohammed thundered Cheltenham into the lead. Just the tonic for a team whose promotion push has stalled in recent weeks, and with just 2 minutes left, Jimmy Spencer made absolutely sure to sentence Barnet to a third straight defeat.
Gillingham manager Andy Hessenthaler described the Memorial Stadium pitch as the worst he'd ever seen at a league club. Rovers fans would consider referee Dean Whitestone's decision to award a penalty to the visitors as hardly any better. Mr Whitestone gave the kick after consulting his assistant. Dan Woodard's handball considered deliberate. Danny Kedwell took the kick. Scott Bevan made a fine save. Twice. Gillingham did take the lead 10 minutes into the second half thanks to this fine strike from Chris Whelpdale. Nothing Bevan could do about that. 6 minutes later, the home side were level. Matthew Gill provided the cross. Elliot Richards the header. Whatever the state of the pitch, it didn't seem to trouble Mustafa Carriol. He raced through the Gills defence 10 minutes from time to put Rovers in front. But Gillingham kept alive their hopes of a playoff place in stoppage time. A long clearance from Paulo Gazzaniga and a looping header from Dennis Oley, giving them a valuable point.
For Port Vale, a very good Friday and an even better week. A buyer for the club was announced on Thursday. Louis Dodd's match-winning double was the perfect way to celebrate. Vale's victory ended a sequence of 6 home wins for Aldershot, for whom Guy Maggio wasn't the only one displaying wayward finishing. Any remaining hopes the Shots had of a playoff place were all but extinguished when Dodds completed his brace with 16 minutes remaining. Dean Holdsworth later conceded defeat in the race for the top 7. Wilco Risser's goal gave Aldershot false hope, but there was to be no comeback. Season-ending stuff for the Shots, but for Vale, a new beginning.
Rotherham may be without a manager, but the man in temporary charge isn't doing a bad job. Darren Patterson believes the Millers still have a chance of making a late push for the playoffs. An excellent first-half strike from Ben Pringle kept their hopes alive at Wimbledon. The home side fortunate just to be the 1 goal down at the break, and after strong words from manager Terry Brown, they began to make it more of a contest. Chris Bush getting on the end of Rashid Yusuf's cross to bring out the best in Rhys Taylor. The Dons were now making most of the running. Jack Midson played in Luke Moore, who finished in style. That gave them just under half an hour to find a winner that would guarantee another season of league football. They'll have to wait a bit longer. 7 minutes from the end, Alex Revel sent Sam Hoskins clear. The 19-year-old on loan from Southampton refused to be caught, and from an impossible angle crashed in his first ever senior goal. That secured the managerless Millers their 3rd win in 4 matches, but they had to survive a late scare when Midson was given a sight at goal. But the Millers keeper Taylor came out sharply to preserve maximum points.
Dagenham and Redbridge are inching their way to safety. Unbeaten in 4 games, they almost took the lead at the start of the second half when John Akindi's shot was cleared off the line. Moments later, Burton were ahead. Jacques Magoma arrived in Staffordshire from Tottenham. He created the chance with a shake and a shimmy, and the finish wasn't bad either. And Burton held their lead until 2 minutes from time, when this long clearance from Scott Doe found Brian Woodall. He let the ball pass him and then volleyed home the equaliser. The Daggers now 6 points above the relegation places.
Should the worst happen and Plymouth fail to escape relegation, they may well look back on this game as the one that sank them. Stefan Stam's own goal gave Argyle the perfect platform to put 6 points between themselves and the drop zone. The Pilgrims could have made sure of victory before half-time. Hereford's ever-leaky defence let in Nick Chadwick, but on Easter weekend, he was left with egg on his face. Unbeaten in 5, Plymouth are more than hopeful of avoiding the drop. They'd be even more confident had they taken advantage of James Chambers' lunge on Warren Feeney. Penalty to Plymouth, Hereford looking doomed. But top scorer Simon Walton joined Chadwick in the doghouse. And the Pilgrims were made to pay. 7 minutes after half-time, Tom Barkhausen scored Hereford's only goal in 4 games. Enough for a point that keeps both sides guessing about next season.
Well, needless to say, that point will go down better at Plymouth than at Hereford. So, Leroy, what's your take as to the bottom of League Two?
I thought that's a massive point for Plymouth today, and I think that'll just about be enough for them to stay out of the mire. But Hereford, Macclesfield, Barnet, I think it's 2 from those 3. I just feel that none of those sides are good enough really to get two wins in their last 5 games. And so everybody from Plymouth upwards will be safe.
Hereford still have to go to Barnet in the run-in. Yeah, How big a game is that?
Well, it's a massive game, It always comes down to a game like that in League Two, doesn't it? But you've got Richard O'Kelly there and Brian Horton at Macclesfield, both experienced managers, and they'll know that if they can just sneak out on the last game of the season, that'll be good enough. But I just think they know that Barnet are the ones who could be dragged into it.
As for the other end, the leaders Swindon are on course for a quick return to League One. 15th win in 18 games now for the Robins. Paolo Di Canio, nonetheless, furious after this. I mean, there's no slacking under the Italian, is there?
Well, no. Well, he's the same as a player. He was a perfectionist, and he's going to be a perfectionist as a manager. And people like that, they always look at the negatives when they come off the pitch, even if they have got the 3 points. That doesn't matter to him, and he'll continue to do it that way.
Crawley grabbed a late point against an all-impressive Crewe, apparently, and Crawley, it looks like, if they're going to finish this job, there is a possibility they'll have to do it without their manager, Steve Evans. I mean, what do you think about this approach from Rotherham?
Well, to be honest, on the face of it, why would he want to go to Rotherham? Crawley, a side that are moving forward. They really have great foundations financially, and he's doing a fantastic job there. So the only thing I can think of is Steve might be looking for a pay rise, but on the face of it, it doesn't seem like a good move for me. And he's made a good signing, Gary Alexander, as well, which is just kind of that experience, that knowledge of how to get over the line. It comes with Gary Alexander after they lost a couple of strikers. I can't see why he'd want to leave.
Huge relief for Cheltenham tonight after finally scoring a goal and getting that elusive win.
Clean sheet for Jack Button. He's gone through a little bit of a difficult period, but he's the reason why Cheltenham have been up there this season. He's been outstanding. He's going to be a great goalkeeper. He's on loan from Birmingham, but Mark Yates has kept nice and cool. He's always accentuated the positives, and they've always stayed in the playoffs. Even though they've had a poor run, they've always been in the playoffs. They've got the 3 points, and all of a sudden they'll be up and running again.
Well, in terms of the tables then, in NPAL League 2, what it means is Swindon and Torquay consolidate their position as the top 2. Shrewsbury move above Crawley, who drew with Crewe. Cheltenham move above Oxford and are 2 points behind Southend, who lost at Bradford. Hereford's point, not enough to lift them off the bottom, but they're 3 points from safety, as are Macclesfield, who are still looking for a win in 2012. Wins for Bradford and Northampton ease their relegation worries. In League 1, the top 3 won again and move further clear of Huddersfield, MK Dons and Carlisle, who all drop points. Unless Charlton have a complete nightmare in the next 5 games, they're most likely going to be a championship side next season, leaving both Sheffield sides to battle it out for the remaining automatic spot. Chesterfield's loss at Walsall sees them 13 points from safety with just 15 points to play for now, and it also looks bleak for Exeter and Rochdale, who also lost. Wickham are 4 points away from Walsall, Bury and Leyton Orient, with all 3 now looking nervously over their shoulders. Reading are now level on points with Southampton at the top. The Saints ahead of the Royals on goal difference. West Ham are 4 points behind with 5 games to play. It looks like the remaining 3 playoff spots will be between the sides occupying 4th to 8th spots, although you can never discount a late surge from someone. Bristol City, meanwhile, climb out of the bottom 3 and Coventry replace them in the relegation zone. And those 2 sides, as I mentioned earlier, meet at Ashton Gate in our feature game on Monday. Despite Portsmouth's points, they are now 6 points from safety, and Doncaster look like they need a miracle to maintain their championship status. Now, if you missed any of tonight's action, don't forget the show is on the Red Button and on Freeview until midday on Sunday. It's also on the iPlayer all week, of course, while for extended match highlights of each game, they'll be on the BBC Sport website. Football, of course, comes thick and fast over Easter. Match of the Day 2 with Colin Murray is on air on Sunday evening at 10:25 on BBC One. That'll include extended highlights of the games involving both the Manchester clubs. Then Match of the Day is back on Easter Monday with action from 5 Premier League games that day from 10:20, also on One, followed immediately by the best from the Empire Football League when I'll be joined by Steve Claridge for the latest twists and turns in this, the business end of the season. Right, well, that's your lot for now. Thanks for your company as always, Leroy. We'll see you on Monday night. Good evening.